Hey guys, welcome to another driving test video. So this was a test at Bromley Driving Test Center on Monday, the 9th of October 2023. Test time was at 1:35 p.m. in the afternoon. So this test was a pass, and unfortunately I do not have the test report, but we'll see if we can pick up one or few of the minor faults from this video. However, warning ahead, examiner did mention that the parking was horrible. So we are going to see what happened on the parking. Why did she say that? And was it actually that bad? Watch out and see. Now, be very careful if there's a bus at the bus stop when you get to this junction on your test. Because now, if you're going to take that decision to go through and pass that bus, remember that you're going to be using the right hand lane to do that. So be careful with your judgment. If there are oncoming vehicles, you might want to hold back, or better still, wait for that bus to go. Unless if, of course, it's not busy and there are many people at the bus stop and you've got a very good time to go through and go in front of the bus. But if not, then keep it in mind, it might be better off to wait for that bus to leave. Unless if clearly other vehicles are giving you way. But yep, work with this with your instructor. Do a couple of practices at this junction. People do tend to get nervous at this junction, and then you force yourself and push yourself into an unsafe situation at that junction. Mostly because you're worried that you're holding people back behind you. But then remember that if it's not safe, there's nothing you can do. That is not hesitation. That is not undue hesitation. That is actually doing the right thing. If the road isn't safe, there's lots of traffic passing, then just keep waiting, keep looking around left and right at the bus stop and wait until it's safe. And when it's safe, take your go. Now, at this roundabout, they are taking the second exit. This is what I call a square about because it's actually not round. Now, your first exit is right immediately to your left, but then the second exit goes all the way round. So keep in mind that as you pass this first exit on this bend, go straight into the left. So just like right here, push into your left so that you leave the right hand side of the road. I won't call it lane because it's not divided, but it's big enough, so treat it as 2 lanes. So keep that right for those going around. So from that point, remain on the left and go all the way. And at this point, you can then signal left, start preparing to exit. Now, when you get to this exit, be very careful because sometimes you have vans like this or cars parked up here. So be very careful. Don't go wide because there are cars coming from the other side and you don't want to cause unnecessary situations. So reduce your speed, keep well to your left, and look out and look ahead. Starting from January 2024, I am going to be offering mock tests at Heather Green and Bromley test centers on Fridays. So Fridays and some weekends. So if you're interested in these and you want to find out about the cost or the price or the rates, then don't forget, get in touch. Message me through the contact section of the page. Probably going to take you to Facebook or WhatsApp. Now, don't forget that ahead of you, there is a one-way sign ahead. And as you get to the bend, the one-way starts. So from that bend, it becomes a one-way. So if you're turning right or you're asked to turn right at the end of that one-way road, make sure you keep to the right. It would surprise you how many people fail their test just because they position on the left on a one-way road. And don't confuse yourself with the second lane on the right. It's just for the cars coming from ahead to join the one-way route from your right as well. So keep that in mind. It's just for the traffic oncoming towards you to also join that route. So here is the end of the road, and if you're turning right, remember, keep to the right of the road, and if turning left, stay on the left. Remember that the one way continues on this road. So as you come into the road here, keep to the right. If you stay towards the left, you're going to end up on the bus lane. So keep to the right lane and you can only turn left, of course. As you approach the bend ahead, remember to reduce your speed to a reasonable speed because you can't see oncoming vehicles and vice versa, considering that you're very likely to be driving over the right lane as you go through that bend, and the more faster you are, the more of the right lane you're going to be taking up, just as she has done here. So reduce your speed well enough so that you're able to react safely if there was an oncoming vehicle at that bend as you get there. I believe there was a minor fault at this junction that could have been a serious fault easily. Now, this car is parked up on the opposite side. Now, if she had taken that into consideration, she should not have moved off while this other car was still approaching, because that car is going to obviously be using our lane to go past the parked car. And considering that you're the one at the junction, then you've got to be giving priority to that car on the way. So even though that's your lane, you actually don't have priority to that lane because you are behind a giveaway line. So keep this in mind. That was a very lucky one and could have been a serious fault if the situation was a little bit different. All right, so here they are at the car park coming to do the maneuver. So they're going to be doing reverse bay parking on this test. So the examiner mentioned the parking was horrible. So let's see what happened. Now, for so far, we can see the car park seems busy. So you've got to be very careful when you're doing your parking in a busy car park, especially, of course, on your test. And you have several other learners around you, which means someone is more likely not going to be looking around well enough. And if that is you and the other person, then it makes it more complicated. So make sure you're looking well around. Pay attention to other cars reverse light. So like this one on the left here, this car is going to be reversing at any time. So if you pass that car, you've got to be very careful. Now this is the place she's decided to stop. That's the first mistake. Now if I were the driver at this point, I would have waited for that vehicle to complete what they were doing, since that's seen the reverse light on. Maybe it just makes it easier for you. So she started reversing back. Now, as you can see here, we've passed the first bay, the second bay, and now we're passing the third bay and the fourth bay. Oh, so yes, that is not good. Why leave all of those bays and we're still reversing? Now, from the side camera, I can see there are some other cars behind on the left blind spot camera. If you look on the left there, we can see there's another car, or actually cars behind us. But anyway, so we're now going back. It seems like we're going to be very close to the white car. So she's left all the 3 bays or 4 bays, and we're going to park right next to the white Nissan Leaf. And that is also a learner car. Now that's not good. Now let's see from the right. Oh. There you go. Now, don't do this to yourself, please. Don't pick a bay next to another car, especially the car on your right. It is not a good idea. Now, I've said this to everyone I teach when we're doing parking. But, of course, as you see, nerves takes the best of you. So, that is very close. Now, she's probably... Okay, there we go. We're going forward now to do it again. Now, let me say one thing. The only reason why an examiner would have let you continue at that point, as close as she got to that car, is only because your observation must have been very good. So the examiner would have been looking at you, looking at the situation, looking at you, looking at the situation, and he or she can see that, okay, you know what's beside you, you're paying very good attention at it, hence why I would leave you to continue. And then the speed is very slow. If she had not been looking well enough at that Nissan Leaf, I can guarantee you the examiner would have braked, and that would have been the end of the test. Oh, sorry, that would have been the serious fault at that point, because that had happened before at the test center, and that was the end of the test, even before they went out. So they didn't even go out because this was during COVID. So that's the same situation here, but I can guarantee that she was paying very good attention to that Nissan Leaf. So finally, she's gone to this point. Now we are straight now, and seems like we're good, and she could have just reversed back and complete the maneuver. But to me, it seems like she didn't look at the right mirror to see that she was actually in. So there you go. These are other tests as well. So God. So she started moving forward here. Luckily, that driver on the right has waited or stopped already, and she's moved forward just tiny bit and come back again. So that forward is really not fixing anything. So again, what was really the point of it? But what you want to pay attention to here is how long they took. So that's the examiner opening the door there to check, and she also opened the door on the right to do that. So don't forget, it's not a crime if you open or even come out the car to look around. But make sure you secure your car before you do that. Put into park, handbrake on if you're driving a normal handbrake car. If it's electronic handbrake, then pull it up before you go out or before you open the door to look around. But you can see right there, that was, yeah, horrible in the examiner's word. But luckily, observation was good. But I know there was a minor fault for control there, because that examiner did mention. But yes, so guys, please, one thing you've got to learn from this: observation is very, very important during your parking. Keep that in mind. I have had tests in this car park and at the test center who had failed. One because the driver started reversing out, and there was another learner on test as well that was reversing out as well, and they both had not seen themselves, and the examiner had to stop the learner driver. So we had a serious fault for that. And the other one was at the test center, exactly like this. She picked the bay right next to another car at the test center, so she started reversing very close to the car, not paying too much attention, and she got quite very close. Examiner can say she wasn't looking there, so examiner had to stop her. And funny enough, it was actually the same examiner as this test. So yeah, she failed at that point, and they didn't actually go out of the test center. They didn't continue the test. So if you're going to do your parking, please pay attention, look around. Observation is key, and don't pick a bay next to another car. Not especially in this case where there are lots of bays. But anyways, that's that about the parking. So we're now coming back to the roundabout, and at this point you're heading back to the test center. So examiner is going to tell you to take the third exit, of course. But keep in mind, here is a one-way, so if you don't signal, not a big deal. But again, I always say just signal at the end of the day, because you're going to be keeping to the right. Just make your intention known here so that everyone knows you're going towards the right lane. So now you're on the right lane, and as you come through the bend, which is bringing you to the first exit, now make sure that as you pass the first exit, start keeping to your left, but don't signal, because if you signal, you might mislead people that you're taking the second exit. So here's the first exit. Keep to your left here without the signal, and remember, here is the second exit, and at this point you can signal left for the third exit, which is just straight ahead. So you see why it's important to keep left as you come through the first exit there. Now if you end yourself in the right lane at that bend and you didn't keep left, please don't try and change lane, especially if you haven't checked your mirror. If you checked your mirror and it was safe, okay, that's fine. But don't do it last minute. Don't do it, randomly and just switch back to the left. No, you're more likely going to fail. If you end up in that right lane and it's too late and you clearly know you're not going to be doing that safely, please remember, just go back around the roundabout, come back and take it again. And this time, try and do it safely and correctly, and you'll be fine. I have had a couple of people failing at this roundabout just because of that. Find yourself in the wrong lane and you try to switch, and hey, there was a car on the left. So keep that in mind. And that's that for the roundabout. I have paused it here because I've had someone fail at this point before during COVID. Now, the instruction was to turn right, and she did not go into the section or the box here for turning right. So she just stayed on the left-hand side of the road, holding back traffic, of course. Now, in that case, there was actually no traffic behind, but yet she got failed. So don't forget, just because there was no one around does not mean you're not going to fail for something, or you're not going to be given a serious fault or minor fault for situation. So initially coming out from Bontash Lane, coming in from Bontash Lane, it was the same thing. So she was asked to turn right into this road, into the first road from Bontash Lane, and then immediately after told to turn right into this road. So it was Bontash Lane into Park Avenue, which is right turn, and then right turn again into what's the name of this road again? Quaintmore Road or something. So, and that she got another serious fault, she was given a serious fault and brought back to the test center. So please remember, stay in the box, even if it's a tiny bit or tiny lane. Just at least make effort, get yourself into that box, use whatever space it is that you've got there, so that you can leave the space on the left open for those who wants to continue. If it's still not enough space for vehicles to continue, that is not your problem at that point. You have at least done the bare minimum that you can do. So keep that in mind. So guys, they are now coming back to the test center and coming to the end of the test. So don't forget guys, if you find these videos useful, please support the channel. It only takes a like or a subscription to do that. So if you really find this useful, then appreciate it by just liking it so that this can go up to more people, and it will be rewarded for the channel as well, and I would really appreciate that. And if you wish to donate to the channel as well, you can actually do that. There is a super thanks icon at the bottom of the videos. You can always use that to contribute to the channel as well. If it's a £1, £2, £5, anything at all, nothing is small. It just helps contribute towards the time to go out there and record the roots, time to do the video editing for the test videos like this that you're watching. So please, it does help a lot. It takes a lot of time to get these videos out. The voiceovers, the commentaries does take a lot of time. Otherwise, I could just put them up as it is and it wouldn't make much sense. All you're just going to be doing is just watching a driving video. Well, it might work for learning the test route, but if you really love the commentary on the faults and all those things to keep in mind, then please appreciate. I would really love that. So yeah, that's the end of the test, and yeah, this was a pass. So I'm going to be uploading next after this one a mock test that we did this month, November. So keep in mind as well, if you want a mock test, like I said, henceforth I'm going to be doing mock tests on Fridays at Bromley and Heather Green. So if you want that, then yep, reach out and I'll give you the information, rates, times, and all that. So that's it. Hope you found this very useful, and I'll see you in the next video. So best of luck with your test and stay blessed. Don't forget, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay blessed. Peace.